People of a western New York community are confronting developers, the state, and each other over plans for a major new wind energy project.
Just last week, the developer brought in stakeholders for a meeting behind closed doors. But a provision of state law may mean local elected leaders and voters have no say in what happens in their backyards. Charles Molyneux checked out the debate in tonight's New York State Exposed report.
Well, when you talk about the turbine debate in New York, local leaders almost inevitably bring up Article 10, which, when it comes to big power projects, takes power away from local lawmakers and voters. Right now, the developer Apex Energy of Virginia is planning to lease land from local farmers for its Lighthouse wind energy farm.
To me, it's mesmerizing to see the windmills.
Floyd Koerner is looking forward to seeing his cornfields sprout wind turbines. He'd get about $12,000 per turbine, and he's hoping to host 3 of them.
We're getting up to the age where we're close to retirement, and it would be a nice nest egg to help us through the golden years.
The majority of people are opposed to this. They don't think it's appropriate.
Pam Atwater's home is near where some of the towers could go, and she dreads it. Apex is planning on 50 to 60 turbines, possibly more than 600 feet tall, which would dwarf the biggest of the local silos or even the skyscrapers of downtown Rochester.
It's going to change the nature of the area to be more industrial than rural.
Apex says Lighthouse represents a chance for the community to join Governor Andrew Cuomo's 50 by 30 push to have 50% of the state's electricity come from renewable sources by 2030. And to benefit from payments to the towns and rent to the farmers.
I think they see it as actually complementary to agriculture and complementary to their view and vision of the land and allowing the farms to stay in these families. Whenever I talk to someone about wind energy, I encourage them to drive down to towns, down 77, down to, say, the town of Sheldon, for example, and talk to a landowner.
News 10 took that encouragement and drove down to Wyoming County, where the Orangeville wind farm has been in operation with 58 wind turbines since 2014.
Been a living hell.
Paul and Linda Maxon of Warsaw say the benefits to local communities don't make up for what's happened to the landscape or the noise.
Sometimes it's, as we heard today, a surf type sound, and sometimes it's like a jet taking off from an aircraft carrier or runway.
In the fall, this is spectacular. It's spectacular, the colors. Of course now, it's just garbage.
The wind turbine project is toxic.
In Yates, town supervisor Jim Simon was elected as a write-in candidate because he opposes Lighthouse. And the town board has passed resolutions and zoning rules to limit tall turbines.
It isn't all about money. It's about the values of the community.
But the actual decision on whether Lighthouse goes ahead belongs only to a 7-member New York State siting board. Under Article 10 of the State Public Service Law, the board can ignore any local rules it considers unreasonably burdensome.
We were all stunned to think that we were not going to be able to, that the town itself was not going to be able to make the decision about this.
The State Public Service Commission says direct public involvement is a fundamental, deeply ingrained aspect of the siting board's review process.
At this point, there's still a little bit, up in the air, and I think folks, understandably, are really looking for more information, so I'm eager to get that to them.
The 50 to 60 towers of the Lighthouse project would crank out 201 megawatts of electricity, enough to power 53,000 average homes, and less than 1/3 the capacity of the Somerset power plant, which is already there. Apex estimates it could take thousands of turbines to meet the state's 50 by 30 goals, which activists say means the debate over this project is just a beginning.
What we're talking about doing in New York State is taking these huge structures and spreading them out all over the state. Many of the beautiful vistas you have are going to be gone.
Apex Energy plans to formally apply later this year to build the project. If it's approved, the turbines could start going up in late 2019 and be finished in 2020. Charles Molyneux, News 10 NBC.